the chaos begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride loud within, this is where the game and fun begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride loud within, this is where the game and fun begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride now within, this is where the game and fun begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride now within, this is where the game and fun begin.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh, it really has been a long week. Let me try this again. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to Fools Rush In for your usual weekly preview to the weekend ahead, all the action, all the talking points, and all of the predictions. As always, we are coming to you live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. So wherever you are in the world, whatever app you're choosing to watch from, please do get involved in the live chat so we can flash your comments up. We can respond to you directly, and as per the ticker along the bottom. Thank you very much to those of you who tuned into our pilot episode of our shared Champ Manager series that I'm doing with my friend Smuts, including a number of household FRI names. Those who, if you missed it, some of the FRI based headlines from that is that Woody was subject to a bid from Man City. He's now wanted by Rotherham. And I had a 4 out of 10 performance in our first loss of the season and got an official warning. Nick scored the winner in a friendly against Swindon before getting sent off in his next appearance. So lots of stuff going on for the FRI characters in that. If you missed it or you want to catch up, you can find it on our YouTube channel. And we finally succumbed. I'm going to do my best to create even more content using all these stupid photos and videos that either I take or the boys send me on match days. Yes, FRI is, well, we did have it once before, but it got out of hand. So we're trying again. FRI is now on TikTok. Please do go follow the page. And you'll never know. We might get good at one of these apps so much that we blow up, we start making loads of money, create even more content. We can all quit our day jobs and just do this full time, because that is the absolute dream for all of the fools, even if I do say so myself without telling. Let's get straight into it, because once again, we are delivering the goods. We have an opposition fan ready to come and have their say about the weekend's action. But before we can get to them, we have to do our intro question. And the intro question tonight is simply, given what happened on Tuesday and suddenly, the promotion race is back on, at least that's what we're going to be peddling today. What was the last time you didn't give up on something and you achieved it? For me, I would say, as an example, the first time I was supposed to go for my black belt, I ended up doing ankle ligament damage and couldn't do it. And I thought that was it. My chance had gone. But I got back, I got healthy, and I've been through it twice more since. And rumour has it I'm doing it again this year because I missed last year after my operation. So tonight's intro question again. When was the last time you didn't give up on something and you achieved the result? I know that of the fools in the panel, this next entrant to the screen has many a physical example of this, because he is one of our premier athletes within the group. Good evening, Rich.
Evening, Fivey. How are we doing?
Very well, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Now, before we get into anything,
I was going to say, like you say, it's been a long week, but go on.
It has been a very long week. But before we get into anything, let's just check how the connection is tonight. Can you hear this?
I can indeed.
Fantastic. For those who caught the watch along, you will recall that Rich couldn't hear any of the sound effects that me and Woody were playing, which made the entire thing a lot funnier. How's your week been, mate?
Like you say, mate, it's not been very eventful, but it's felt long. But I don't know if that's because I'm off next week because I'm off to Prague. But yeah, it just genuinely felt so long. I've no idea why.
Oh no, it has been a very, very draining week. We've obviously we've got the midweek action to go over again, plus the weekend's action, so plenty to talk about. But I want to know, inspire us, Rich, with a tale of when you didn't give up on something.
Well, I think as most people know that I'm currently training for a marathon next month. I've got my last race before Manchester Marathon on Sunday. I think for me, I would say when I came back from my little travels, I was trying to get back into running again because I didn't do an awful lot, and it ended up taking a couple of months off me because I was actually injured. And I think for me, it was just to try and get back to where I was before. But I feel as if that I've probably excelled since then. And
Nice.
with it, setbacks, again, like I say, you pick up little injuries and stuff like that, like yourself, Fifey, I know you said you did your black belt and you got ankle ligament, but I think for me, that shows that you've pushed, that you care, and that you're strong and you can come back from things. And I think for me, it's literally achieving what I never thought I could achieve, which were some of the times that I got. So for a good example was my 10K last month. I did that in 43 minutes, and I said before the race, I said I'd love to get this between 42 and 44 minutes. And my previous personal best before that was 45 and a half minutes.
Wow.
It was a massive, very ambitious, and I stopped halfway because my calf just completely blew up. But I managed to get my pace back on track, and I literally, and I was not even aiming for this. I know I said I wanted it between 42 and 44, but I got it dead on 43 minutes basically.
Incredible.
Although my Strava says sub 43, so I'm still taking that, but I just say 43 minutes just to make it easier because it was only 1 second. But yeah, and I think for me as well, I'm aiming to get a sub 25K as well. So that's my goal for some time this year, which I'm hoping to do. But it's you reflect, and I've just done a post that I'm going to be putting out in the next couple of days or so of just my journey for the last 7-8 months, just getting back into the swing of things, really pushing myself to the limit and achieving things I never thought I could achieve before. So and again, and this goes for the marathon next month. I never thought I haven't done it yet, but I never thought I'd be even thinking about running one. So the fact that I will be next month is quite exciting, and I am looking forward to it now. And I wish it was
Excellent.
weekend, but it isn't. But to be honest with you, though, I know that's one example, but obviously I've been very competitive my whole life. I've played and tried many sports, and some sports don't always go. Well, they don't always suit out for you, but I have tried and tested many, and been had some success where I have. So I could probably go on all night, but yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest one and most recent one.
No, mate, it's a fantastic answer. It's a fantastic answer. Now sit back and relax while we bring the man that keeps everything ticking over nicely onto the screen as well. Good evening, Woody.
Good evening. How are we?
How are you?
Yeah, matching your boys' sentiments. I think it does feel like it's been a bit of a long week. Although I do remember Monday better than I do Tuesday, so it's maybe not that long. And I have come to the establishment that now Rich is fully graduated as a runner because he now uses the phrases "sup" when he's talking about timing, which is only a phrase used with running people that do running. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, well done, Rich.
Sure.
Well done on graduating to the runner status.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Officially.
Thank you. Can I just ask, was it a long week because you had to go to Oxford United on Wednesday? Was it?
Yes.
Was
I
that
had to go
part
to
of
a
it?
careers. Yeah, I had to go to a careers fair at Oxford United for my work, and yeah, let's just say I didn't quite burn to a crisp as I walked through, and I had to respect the memorial and the funny looking ball thing. I had to respect that because obviously it's got Amelia Alpin tributes on it at the moment. So,
Oh, shit.
but
I was
yeah,
literally going
yeah.
to say, did you piss on the bushes on the way out? But actually, no, that's
No, no,
probably,
yeah. Unfortunately,
yeah,
there are times you should,
yeah,
and there are times you definitely shouldn't. And
definitely,
that was a time
100%.
that I definitely shouldn't. So, but yeah, it was interesting as well. But yes, as you say, it was.
What was the memorial like? I can imagine there's obviously a lot of
Oh, there was a lovely lot of flowers. There's a
amazing.
few from different clubs as well, which is always nice. Kind of made me
Yeah,
retrospectively think, had I thought about it, could have taken something from Chippenham, maybe, given that we've got connections with Amelia. But
yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. But it's still nice to see.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yes, in
Yeah.
hindsight.
That's good to hear, though, mate.
Come on then, Woody. Let's hear your tale of when you didn't give
Well,
up on something.
mine's not as long as Rich, but when you said most recent, I mean, I've got a cop out. The easiest one for me is the Chippenham under-16 girls. It would have, whilst yes, I appreciate I am paid to deliver the coaching, but it would have been easy to kind of down tools a little bit when we were losing games and strip it right back to basics. But I was quite strict on the syllabus that I've set the whole academy to do. I was quite strict with that and kept going with that. And in terms of the players individually, making sure that they didn't lose out the treatment just because they didn't lose out on the development opportunity just because they've had a tough season. Because there's a lot of coaches that I know, definitely know, that had maybe had the record that we had this season, probably would have packed it in, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously that feeling when we got that win last Saturday against a team that we'd lost to twice already this season, kind of made it feel all worth it. So I think that's when I kind of look at not giving up on your hopes type thing. And I mean, obviously in under-16s football, it's not necessarily about fully about performance and results, but it does bloody help every now and then. But it's probably more courteous to the group actually, rather than just to me not giving up. They didn't give up either, and trained hard, worked hard in and out of football. So yeah, that's probably the most recent time.
Excellent.
That would have been easy to do.
Do just want to cover a couple of FRI notices more than anything. Firstly, and I was meant to do this last time round, so apologies that I didn't, but congrats to Craig, who completed his half marathon last weekend. I know he's very, very happy with his time, and he raised lots and lots of money for charity, which is fantastic. Yeah. And I know many of you will have heard last time he was on that he was prepping for surgery. We want to send our best to Nick, who's currently recovering. All seems to have gone well, and he should be back on our screens in no time. We have also, as I mentioned on the watch along, we have also had word from Joe and Gary in recent days that their returns to FRI are imminent, and I have assurances that at least one of them will feature in the month of March. So something to look forward to for everybody. Right, we're going to work in reverse order today because, as I said, we have a guest tonight, and this is an interesting one because we have an opposition fan making his FRI debut. But not only that, he has come highly recommended by Fool's legend Ben. Fool's legend Ben, legend. Who arranged it. Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, we'll call him a legend. Fool's legend Ben, who not only did he arrange the guest, he then decided he couldn't be bothered to fucking turn up and talk to them. But it doesn't Classic matter Ben. Because we have best of both worlds.
He's a legend like Hitler was to the Nazis, yeah? Yeah, okay, got you.
I mean, if you want to make that comparison, that's up to you. But we have best of both worlds because not only do we have an opposition fan, we also have a Ben. Welcome to FRI, Ben.
Good evening.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for your time this evening. As I said, you come highly recommended by our own social media megastar of the same name, and he tells us that you are going to offer some keen insight into what we can look forward to this
No
weekend.
pressure.
So, yeah, no pressure at all. Like I say, we'll work backwards because we normally work midweek games and then into the weekend. But as you're here, let's utilise the time we have with you well. What can we expect from Tranmere tomorrow?
If it's anything like Tuesday, you'll have the easiest win of the season.
Remember what happened last time someone said that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we never do well at Tranmere either. So
yeah, I mean, I saw us get relegated to the National League just over 10 years ago, and that was the worst we had played since then.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the team's been on a bad run before Pete Wild came in. We started off that run we were scoring goals but losing games 2-1, 3-2, all those kind of things. And we just couldn't keep clean sheets, but we were scoring goals. And up until a certain point, we were the fourth highest scorers in the league, despite being down the wrong end of the table. So we had that going for us, and you always felt like, well, surely at some point, a win's going to come just because we score goals. And then kind of the last maybe 6 weeks, the goals have dried up a bit. The confidence has really sapped from the team. On Tuesday, they just looked really scared to do anything in front of a very empty Prenton Park. And, Harrogate scored probably the easiest goal they'll score all season, where we did like a half-hearted press and they just ran straight through the middle of the pitch. 3 players decided not to tackle and just let the player walk past them. And then he had a shot from 25 yards that sort of trickled into the bottom corner without, I'd say, any massive venom in the shot, really. And then from there, that was just it, really. You could just tell the body language of the players. They didn't have any belief. So I think what we're going to expect this weekend is, if they've got any kind of pride in themselves, they're going to try and make it ugly and work hard, and then look to hit you on the counter, because we do have a lot of one area we are strong is we do have a lot of good sort of attacking midfielders. We got like Amari Patrick, Charlie Whitaker, and on loan Zach Obiero from higher up the league. So that's where our goals kind of are, and they've got a lot of sort of individualism between them. So I would expect, and I think P. Wild basically said it in his various presses, that we're just going to play ugly. We're going to try and make it hard, be nasty, and hit you on the counter. And I guess it could be a very frustrating afternoon for both teams if it pans out like that.
Definitely.
And I think the first goal could be absolutely massive in that game. If you guys score, I think our body language will just go the same way it did Tuesday, and you could end up at another comfortable 3-0 win kind of thing. But I do wonder if we did actually manage to get our noses in front, whether the players might find a bit more confidence. Because there are still some good players in there. They're just they're just completely sapped at the moment.
Well, speaking of your attacking intent and confident players, etc., assuming that it's been approved and ratified by the relevant authorities, Rich, we could be coming up against a player that we know very well. I mean, you shared the news on the group today.
Kane Willery. Sorry, I was thinking, hang on a minute. Sorry. This is where it's been a long week, mate. Oh, Kane Willery. Bloody hell. I mean, nobody knows really what his fitness is like. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Absolutely. That was literally, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, this brother's definitely bagging a brace against us tomorrow.
He's not scored for 2 years, I don't think.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly why I think he's going to score a brace tomorrow. He's
the last time someone came on our show for context, Ben, and said someone hadn't scored was at the start of the season. We had an Oldham fan, Alf, come on, who said
Quickly.
that the lad that's now gone to Bristol Rovers,
Quickly.
that's it, quickly, hadn't scored for, I think it was 14 months between Forest Green and Oldham. And of course, he scored against Swindon that day. So,
yeah, I'm not. I don't know. He probably won't even start. He'll probably come off the bench, but he'll give you. He'll just give you like shitloads of pace. I mean, you've had him before, haven't you?
He played for you guys in that COVID hit year, didn't he? And then
slightly before that. Slightly.
He played for us in the behind closed door season.
That's. Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I get what you mean now.
He did relatively well for us that year. He got quite a few goals, and I think we sort of faded towards the end of the season that year, and so did he. And then he disappeared off to Cyprus or Israel or somewhere completely random.
Yeah, he's been to a few countries now. I think Turkey was another one.
Yeah, he's done a tour around that whole region. He's Cyprus,
play,
Israel, Turkey, and I'm sure he's done one of the Eastern European countries as well.
Yeah. But I mean, I never really rated him, to be honest with you. But he does seem to pop up, and like I say, he's obviously got on a little bit since the last time, but I no doubt he's probably still got a bit of pace left in him. And he could cause damage, but again, like I say, nobody knows what his fitness is like. Do you know how long he's been actually training with you, or?
Well, I first heard that we were looking at signing him pre-Christmas, so.
Oh right, so he's probably been training with you since then.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll probably be on the bench tomorrow. We do have a lot of options in that part of the pitch, which makes it slightly odd, unless he's being looked at as potentially playing up top. Maybe, I don't know. When he was with us last time, he was more out wide. But
yeah, that was the same with us when he played for us. So yeah, who knows? But I don't think he would be our main worry. I think for us, it's just getting a good team performance. And but the problem is, though, we don't play well in ugly games. Though we make it 10 times harder for ourselves. So I'm not sure that's exactly a good thing. Good thing from our perspective.
So on that then, Ben, tell us. I know it's not been the greatest of seasons for you, but let's start with your main areas of strength. What should Swindon be concerned about?
Definitely be. We're relatively good at kind of getting the ball to the byline, and then we have runners from midfield who like to sort of arrive at the edge of the box and chances from there. And we've got quite a few players who very good from sort of 20 yards. Mario Patrick and Charlie Whisker have both scored quite a few from outside the box this year. That would be probably our best chance of a goal, because I just don't see us playing good football and get scoring that way. So it'll be from a moment rather than from general play, I would say, if we're going to do something.
And how about the flip reverse of that question? What weaknesses are you concerned that Swindon could exploit?
A lot. Our defence is rubbish. Our keeper's not the best. He's okay. Fans sort of like him, but he's on loan from Port Vale, and they kind of dropped him, and they're bottom of League One by a long way. I think our biggest issue all season has been whenever we try and press, opposition teams just play straight through the middle of us. And like on Tuesday, we conceded 2 goals where that happened, where the attackers tried to press, they failed, and then one pass and the guys through. Because our central defence have just been abysmal. Nathan Smith kind of just backs away and lets attackers shoot, and does like the Virgil van Dijk thing of defending, but he's not Virgil van Dijk.
Not actually defending.
Yeah, he just kind of backs off and off and off, and then doesn't commit, and then kind of throws out a useless leg as he watches the ball go in the bottom corner of the goal every time. And I reckon we've conceded 40 goals like that this season. So you would think at some point those players would learn. Some of them have had promotions out of this league, but
I haven't really looked at Tranmere's team over the season, but I've just had a look at it. My God, I can see why you it's probably been a rough ride so far this season for you. That doesn't look look for promising, to be honest with you. That has National League team written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's really worked against us this year, and I do feel a bit for Andy Crosby when he lost his job, was that we've had the most injuries in the AFL this season.
Right.
I think the fewest we've had out at any given point has been 7.
Wow.
It peaked at 14 out a few days ago. A week or so ago, for the game we had at Fleetwood. We've had key players as well. So our first choice keepers missed the whole season. Leo Connor, who probably would have been our captain, has been out for the season, and he's probably, our best defender. So that's not helped. And then we've lost people like Whitaker for a month at times. Pardon me. We've had, Maury Patrick missing games, and it's just not gone well. And then in the background, there's been all this sort of takeover nonsense, and there's been players who have come out and said, well, the fans need clarity, when it's quite clear that the players want it as well. And it's just a lot of background noise, and I think when things are going bad, it just kind of makes it all worse. And
so I recall, because it was a big weekend for us as a group, the reverse fixture at the county ground, and I remember watching your side, and you had a specific way of playing. Have things developed over the season? Do you still feel you have that kind of approach to play, that style of play, or is it different maybe from how it was when we met back in November?
No, it'd definitely be different. I think we were trying the back 3 for the majority of the season, and we might still play the back 3 this weekend, but I think with just the way the confidence has gone, the wing backs don't get high anymore, and we just really struggle to assert ourselves on games. And I think one trend has been opposition teams are quite happy when we have the ball, because they're just waiting for us to mess up, and so it isn't really how we would play. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Wild basically tells the players to hoof it, because whenever we've tried to play over the past sort of 6 to 8 weeks, we've just given the ball away and conceded goals. So I suspect he'll tell them to treat it like a hot potato and just get rid of it, and only play when we're in the final third, basically, to try and reduce the amount of mistakes we're making, maybe. But then it's whether our defenders are actually bothered enough to stay concentrated for 90 minutes. I don't think they are. There's not a lot to be too positive about for us. So I think it more depends on whether you guys do something strange that kind of shoots yourself in the foot.
Woody, Ben paints a fairly bleak picture there. However, we've all been in and around football long enough to know about new manager bounces, and there's very few out there as accustomed to doing it in League Two as Pete Wild. So we've discussed over the course of the season how it must be difficult for opposition managers to know what Swindon are going to do, because we can't guess what Holloway's going to do half the time. But when there is a new manager in, it's going to be equally difficult for Holloway to have got a full scouting network in place to analyse this game for him.
Yeah, I mean, this comes back to that. Well, we need to do what we do, not worry about what others are doing. Is this Wild's? It's not Wild's first game, is it?
This would be his third game.
Third game, yeah. Bounce has gone. But it's but I mean, unfortunately, I am. My heart is relatively confident, but it's one of those again, like a couple of weeks ago, where everything is going against a Swindon win, because if you care about the form table, Tranmere are technically the worst team in the league at the moment, with only 1 point in the last, I think it's 5 games. So, but like Ben said, they've got a good goal scoring record. So, I think Pete Wild is definitely one of the type of managers who will like to look at trying to smash and grab a little bit. So maybe that doesn't suit the free flow that we would necessarily expect a team that score a lot of goals to do. But again, unfortunately, Harrogate's win, in my opinion, I think Tranmere might be okay, but it does bring you back into that relegation battle again, because you are only 6 points behind
right on the edge of it, aren't we?
Yeah. So, I think looking at the teams that are down there with you, I think you'll be fine. But it's it's just kind of. But that being said, all of that 6 against the Swindon actually winning the game. But yeah, is the new manager bounce a thing this time of the season? Possibly, but I think we would have been up against it anyway because Tranmere, they're not a mid-table team playing for nothing now at the moment. They're still playing to keep themselves up, and that still brings out different animals in players. So it's I think but like you say, Wild is one of the experts of the dark arts. He's obviously openly said that in his pressers, which we know that means it's going to piss Holloway off. Holloway would try to match it, and then he realised that our players are too nice, apart from Ollie Clark. But it's I never feel comfortable going into these games, to be totally honest.
No, of course. Ben, tell us what two-part question. What has gone wrong for Tranmere this year, and what is your gut feel? Do you subscribe the same as Woody's notion that you're probably safe? You just need to get over the line, or are you worried that you could get dragged into a serious problem?
Yeah, I mean, the first bit's quite long-winded, so I'll give you the short. I mean, basically, it's 6 years of decline that's kind of culminated in this. I'd got an owner who wants to leave and keeps putting obstacles in the way of leaving, and he's cutting corners. This year, we didn't have a proper medical department, and then Shakara, we have loads of injured players, and that's kind of come home to roost a bit. And then I think we just had too many injuries at the wrong time when we had a really difficult run of fixtures against the top 7. We had 6 games in a row against the top 7, basically, and lost them all. And then the players' confidence disappeared, and that's just kind of led to where we are. Are we in trouble? We shouldn't be. I mean, we're 6 points clear with a slightly better goal difference, I think. 8 games to go. We probably only need 6 points to stay up. You would think, 1 win, 3 draws, or 2 wins, whatever. You would think that they would come somewhere, even for a team that's not playing well. And when we get closer to the end of the season, pardon me, we've got some games against mid-table sides that, like what he was saying there, they've got nothing to play for, and usually that's where teams at either end of the table do well at the end of the season. So maybe we'll get results there, but it's ridiculous that a club like us are even in this position again. So yeah, I think that's the atmosphere you'll pick up on Saturday. That I don't know how toxic it will get, but if you guys score first, it will get very toxic. And there's been a bit of talk of some sort of walkouts at various points, but I haven't seen anything formally.
That was going to be my question to you, Ben. Do you know what your average attendance is at the moment?
So
roughly.
Yeah, I've forgotten. Up to about 4 weeks ago, it was about 7,000, which is pretty good, seeing as we've been bottom third all season.
Yeah.
To
be fair, that's our average attendance this season. To be fair, but I was going to say, I think we're bringing around 700 tomorrow. So
yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if it was going to be less than that.
Yeah, the thing with tomorrow's game, they will probably announce the attendance of 6,000, but there won't be 6,000 there.
It's because all the season ticket holders.
There's like 4,500 season ticket holders, and when I was at the game on Tuesday, the area around me that normally has a few hundred, there was barely any. I think they pretended it was like a 5,500 gate on Tuesday, and there was 2/3 of that, I would say. And half of them walked out after half an hour.
So Rich, obviously, Swindon returned to winning ways on Tuesday. This sounds like the perfect opportunity for Swindon to build a bit of momentum.
Absolutely. Absolutely, but I mean, like I say, and I think we spoke on at the end of Tuesday, is that it well, it was nowhere near our best performance at all. In fact, I think we were very, very lucky to get a snatch and grab there. But I think we took our goals very, very well. I think we were patient at times, and you know, it's important now because Tranmere is not a very good place for Swindon Town. Unfortunately, we don't tend to do very, very well there. Unfortunately, but again, obviously we need the points right now, and what better way to go to a place that we don't do very well and get 3 points. I mean, Gillingham wasn't a place historically we did very well. In fact, actually we haven't won there since 1986. So it proves that records are there to be broken, and let's hope we can go and get a win that will really boost our potential automatic promotion positions, because like we said, teams like Salford, for example, they've got a very tough run of fixtures, as do a couple other teams around us too. So everybody's still got to play each other yet, and ourselves included with that. So it's going to be really interesting end of the season, and I think with the points difference in the top 7, I still think it's all well. I know I think I was put on record last week or the week before. I didn't think we were going to get playoffs at all, let alone automatics. But I think that win on Tuesday now is very vital, and I think it's definitely given me some reflection to think, actually, if other teams do bottle it, we've still got a potential chance. So, you know, it's not ideal that we will have to rely on other teams as well to fuck up, but I think it's got to a point where we know we've been in this league long enough now to actually realize that, you know, anything can happen, especially when there's only 7-8 games left of the season. So it's really, really exciting. Obviously I would rather us be comfortable where we are. Unfortunately that's not the position we're currently yet, or we can currently say that yet, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but I just really hope that Holloway's really reflected over the last couple of games and he starts to sort of make changes, but the right changes now, that can really, really push us on to not just cementing playoffs, but actually still competing for 3rd place.
Okay. And Woody, on the back of what we witnessed on Tuesday, how do Swindon build on what they did?
Well, I think there's no doubt that Tuesday will give them a confidence boost. You know, it was a game for me. I said on the watch along that I personally didn't think it was as bad as people have made it out to be, but there was no question that Gillingham did have the more opportunities. Now, obviously, we're now going up against a side that, as Ben rightly said, that have a history of scoring goals. You know, these teams don't just suddenly stop scoring goals. There will be a time when they start doing it again. But yeah, I think in terms of setup, I think we do need to hit them early, but we say the same every week, don't we? That first goal is the one that's going to matter. We can't, in my opinion, I don't think we can afford to be in the same situation as we were on Tuesday at 0-0 at half time. I think we need to be in the lead, because I think, again, we talk about belief, we talk about fans getting behind, and then you think, obviously, there is a kind of mixed reaction with the signing of Kane Woolery, but if he does play because he's been training, then, you know, instantly as he comes on at half time or during the second half, it invigorates the crowd a little bit. And because there's, you know, an ex-player returning always kind of has that effect, doesn't it? And so, yeah, it's and obviously he'll want to score against us because 6 years since he left us, I'm still trying to work out why we paid £400,000 for him. But the but and so yeah, it will. I know we keep saying it, but I just think games like this screen the lights of playing Fletcher Holman, screen the lights of maybe looking at those more either really creative midfielders or the ones that have got a bit of bite about them, so we can win that midfield.
Okay.
We know it sounds like Taff might be back in, which still in, so which is a massive
Well, I was going to
positive.
say, do you think, in terms of personnel, that the questions would be the likes of, can Tafazorli go again, do you think? And is Oldacre still got a place? Is Hoylett still got a place, or do they need pulling out?
Well, I mean, he kind of gave the impression on his presser. I haven't heard the presser, but I've heard the reviews of the presser. But he gave the impression that Taff is going to be playing, didn't he? That whether he's going to string him together himself, and I think that's important, and it will show a little bit of leadership to the other lads in there. Obviously, Knight Lebel he's probably a bit down in the dumps at the moment for not getting the Canada call up. But which I still don't understand why how Hoylett gets a call up and Knight Lebel didn't. But but yeah, it's and then obviously the talk at the moment. I think he alluded to whether it could be Clark or it could be Ola Kigby is back in. I think either of them will be a benefit to us, to be fair. I do think that we need to hit the front line with pace. I don't think there's a place for Hoylett tomorrow. Not to start anyway. I'd like to see like Fletcher Holman and Drynan maybe playing in front of either a creative midfielder or even if Ola Kigby is fit, hit them with that as a front three potentially. Drynan in the middle with Fletcher Holman out on the right and Ola Kigby on the left. There's the option there. But then, in his credit, and I can't remember who said it, but I thought, again, Oldacre had an okay game again on Saturday.
Mark said this on Tuesday.
Yeah, I thought to his credit, I thought he was probably one of our better players. But it was a rough pitch and a small pitch that suits him a little bit better. Billy Bowden again, another player that's coming slowly back into form as well. I just think for me, Palmer's got to stay out, Hoylett's got to stay out to start with. Don't have any qualms of them coming on necessarily, but I wouldn't be starting them. I think we need to hit with pace and creativity. And unfortunately, Hoylett does give us a bit of creativity, but what he makes up for if he doesn't have a good game, Hoylett disappears. You know what I mean? He disappears. If he doesn't have a good game, he disappears. And I think that's a bit of an issue. So I'd much rather get the players that are in, Drynan, whether you like how he's playing or not, he's got goals, he's got assists. Fletcher Holman obviously is everybody's hero at the moment. So yeah, I think get them two in the starting lineup, in my opinion.
Rich, forgive me. I've left my drink in the other room, so I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to disappear quickly while I go and grab it. But Woody mentioned a couple of names there. We don't know for certain. There is a suggestion, but Mo may be back. Ollie Clark likely to be back. When we look at what we did on Tuesday, how important is it for Swindon to have these sort of influential, whether that's captain level influential or just in terms of his directness style of play of Mo? How important is it at this moment specifically in time for Swindon to kind of have these players come back? I'll leave you to answer that while I just go grab my drink quick.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, mainly because it's all well and good having players come back into the squad, but also it does create further headaches for Holloway as well, because it's like, right, okay, I've got these players back, which is great. Now, how do I integrate them back into the squad? Obviously, Ollie Clark's one that's, if he's fit and ready, he's usually first name on the team sheet, to be fair. Obviously captain as well, but then you've got the likes of Okoligbe as well. We know what he can do off the bench. He provides that energy and pace and can really come at defenses. I think if he's back tomorrow, I think by the sounds of how Ben's mentioned Tranmere tonight, I think he could be incredibly influential as well. So it's difficult, and sometimes we perform our best, and I think when obviously we've coached Woody, we tend to do better when our backs are sort of against the wall, really. and we don't have as many headaches, and we have to all pull together to get these results. When players are back in contention and full fitness, everybody wants to be playing, especially in these last 8 games of the season, and especially if you're a lone player as well, because at the end of the day, you want to be you're looking for your next move at the end of the day, and these 8 games are where you can really make your mark. So it's a difficult one, but I think from a team's collective, it's great. But I just hope it doesn't cause Holloway more and more headaches going in, and him having to swap players around and just inadvert them where he wants to play them. Because guarantee you, though, we'll have Mobito back still tomorrow, and he'll still put Ollie Clark back in defence.
Ben, I've actually got a question for you there, actually, as well. From where you, Rich alluded to, kind of this end of the season, that players are looking at loans and looking at. I looked at your squad earlier. I mean, you love a Port Vale signing,
Unfortunately, yeah.
You've got a few on loans. Is there anybody that you got two goalkeepers on loan? But is there anybody that you're thinking, regardless, that Tranmere will look to sign? I noticed you got Stefan Negru as well from Oxford United, and the young lad from Everton, Tamen. Is there anybody that you think you'd be looking to sign?
Most of the ones we've got are really young, and I think we would do well to get any of them this early on, because I think a lot of them will have aspirations of playing higher up the pyramid. I think Tamen has like a really good presence. He was quite unlucky that I think he played 2 games for us and then he got injured, and now he's just coming back from injury, so I don't think he'll be in the team, but be around there. Billy Blacker, he's from Sheffield United. He's still only 19, and I don't think we might be able to get him on loan again, but I don't think we can sign him. Similar got Jaden Joseph from Leicester. Some good kids that, again, just injury issues with them, and I'd be surprised if we managed to get any of them permanently, but they might be looking at, based on what you're saying there, you're trying to finish the season strong to get a League One move potentially next year, because clubs don't look so much at how the team they're playing for has done. They've got all the data these days, haven't they? And they can see what players are doing.
Must be something about Leicester's setup.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same there.
If Jaden Joseph's picked up an injury as well, and obviously we've still got technically Tom Wilson-Brown. Maybe Leicester need to review their strength and conditioning procedures if they can't handle a couple of games in League Two.
So, Ben, let me just kind of round off the last 2 questions we asked you there. Starting from tomorrow, obviously, how does this reflect on what your expectations and aspirations were at the start of the season? Did you expect it to be a difficult campaign? Were you hoping it would? Well, I mean, I imagine you were hoping it would be better. And do you have the belief you can finish strong to build towards next season?
I think at the start of the season, because of the takeover stuff going on, most people were sort of realistic and were, okay, if we finish mid-table and get a few nice results here and there, maybe a little cup run somewhere in one of the cups, that would be an okay season. Not really good enough, but it'd be okay. And I think that's kind of what we expected with some of the players we signed. We got Patrick Brough, who won promotion with Northampton, Nathan Smith, who got promotion Port Vale, Richie Smallwood, who obviously went up with Bradford last year. And, we were kind of expecting that, we wouldn't have any issues. And maybe if we got a bit of luck, we could be flirting around the edge of the playoffs. And it's just, not panned out that way at all. So in terms of finishing strong, we have got players coming back from injury now, some key players. So I think Leo Connor, I say, he would have been our captain. He's coming back. He won't be back for this game, but he'll be back pretty soon. I think he'll be a massive thing for us, because one thing we've really quite visibly lacked the last couple of weeks is having a leader on the pitch. There's no one who's, the ground was really quiet on Tuesday, and you still couldn't hear the players shouting. Normally when you go to those, that silly trophy with the under-21 teams, you can hear the players really loudly. And it was like
Yeah.
that kind of atmosphere, and you just couldn't hear anything from our players. I mean, I think the only thing I really heard was one of the Harrogate players taking the piss out of our players. So, yeah,
You had
kind of summed it up really.
You had Jordan Turnbull as well, didn't you? Was it this season?
Yeah,
you
he's
signed
been
him?
injured. Yeah, we've had him for a few years.
Yeah.
He's been with us
Oh,
for
why don't I think you signed him this season? I don't know.
no,
Why.
he's been with us for a good 3 years now, maybe slightly longer.
Oh, okay.
But no, he's another one who's been injured most of the season. And yeah, we've got some. I say there's some good players in there that just haven't worked or have been injured. I mean, we got Joe Ironside up top, who, let's be real, he's been terrible for us. But he was really good for both Doncaster and Cambridge in this division. He scored a lot of goals, and I think he's only got 2 in God knows how many games for us. So yeah, that's not worked.
Rich, I want to bring you back in here. Obviously, the focus has to be Swindon getting the job done themselves. And we know that it's, as you mentioned earlier, a ground that we don't always have the best record in. But at 12:30 tomorrow, Cambridge, who currently hold that third place automatic spot, host Salford City, who are one place above Swindon, in one of the 2 lunchtime kickoffs. If all goes well and that ends in a draw, that could be just the. I mean, with basically doing reverse psychology of what it was a couple of weeks ago. Swindon missed a couple of chances with lunchtime kickoffs to put the pressure on opposition teams. This time we could benefit from the fact that they're playing each other.
Yeah, massively. And again, but like I say, it's still sort of relying on other teams. And again, that's something that we don't tend to really like to do, because it never really pays off for us, to be honest with you. But we have had a couple of weeks where other teams have fallen. But the problem is we've also fallen ourselves. So if, like we say, like we hope, Cambridge and Salford, and I think it's a draw that we want them to both get tomorrow.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably safe to say.
And then Notts County were after a favour from our good friends over at Cheltenham.
Yeah, Cheltenham definitely ain't winning that. But yeah, I think the one that we've got to focus on is Cambridge and Salford, and I think if all goes to plan, like I say, it's got to sort of light that fire. It's like, right, okay, we've been given another lifeline here. Let's take this one and then reassess where we are, because I think at the moment, I know it's difficult to say, oh, we can't really look at the table. Unfortunately, we have to.
Yeah.
But for us, it should be just winning now. 8 games to go. The target should be to be getting as many points as we possibly can, and then just see where we end up.
Absolutely. And Woody, despite some of the negativity that's surrounded Swindon in recent weeks, the one thing this team has proven across the season is if they can get a bit of momentum behind them, they can go on these little runs. So, again, taking everything into account, like the lunchtime game might just go our way. We've just won on Tuesday, but we're seeing snippets of things like, Drynan seems something back to where he was pre-Christmas. We're seeing Tafazorli kind of leading that defence again, and things are slowly starting to turn. It may be late, but you'll just start to dare to dream again if we can put successive wins together.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit like the Bengana season, wasn't it? That we needed to do quite well late on in the season, but if we had done it 2 or 3 games earlier, it would have been a lot more comfortable. And I think that's definitely the case here. It's like you were saying, if we can, not that we should rely necessarily fully on other teams, but if we have a Cambridge and Salford draw, we could end the day only 1 point behind Cambridge.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we win, and then you've got to think we've got Fleetwood again. We seem to be playing Fleetwood when it's a dead rubber game for them. But it's and then we got Cambridge, haven't we? So it's that kind of 1 point gap comes very, very important in the games to come. So, but we got, like as Rich rightly said, we can't rely on what other teams are doing if we're not doing the business ourselves. Now,
Correct.
do I think it's too late to put a run together? Of course I don't. And do I think that we're not going to achieve anything by putting the run together? No, but there's only one way we find out, isn't there? You know, so it's I kind of, although I joked about the, I think was it Taffas?
Woody's
What he
Wi-Fi
said
seems
about
to be kicking.
If MK
Woody
go on
Wi-Fi.
that run of 18, why can't is you sit there and go, well, that's because we've got 8 games. Holloway said if we can win 7 of the last 8, it puts us in a good position.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the drum that Ben has been banging in the WhatsApp chat. Okay, we're coming up to the hour mark, so we don't want to take up too much of your Friday evening, Ben. I should just say that the live Premier League football's just finished, and Bournemouth 2, 10-man Man United 2. Goals from the penalty spot, and Bournemouth twice coming from behind. Has seen that. Let's find out before we let Ben go then what everyone's predictions are for tomorrow. Rich, I'm going to start with you. Hit me with a score prediction, please.
I think if Holloway gets it right, I think we win tomorrow. I do still think we might concede. I think we're gonna win 3-1.
Okay. Ben?
Got to be a little bit positive. I'll go 1-1. I think we'll take the lead, try and sit back and hold on, and you'll score in the last bit of the game.
Okay. Woody?
My laptop has decided to do graphics installation, so I might be cracking up a bit, but I'm going to go. I think we're going to win 2-1.
Okay. I will. This is hard. I would love to think that Swindon can put a little run together now. So I'm going to say, and apologies for it, Ben, but I'm going to say Swindon win 3-0 and try and get this promotion pushed back on. Sean's in the chat, says, still pissed off that with the Cambridge one, they've now been given behind the goal. Thanks, Sky. And then predicts that we will win 2-1. Pete agrees with you, Woody, as well. Ben, thank you very much for joining us for the first hour of our show. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow aside, wish you the very best for the rest of the season, and please do come on again.
Okay, all right. Have a good evening.
Enjoy your
Welcome,
weekend.
Ben. Nice to meet you.
Have a good one. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks, mate.
You both obviously featured as part of the watch-along team on Tuesday in different
Did I, though?
guys. Yeah, you did. You were a big part of it.
Did I, though? Did I?
Yes.
I don't recall it, to be fair. But yeah, go on.
Well, okay. If you don't recall it, let me give you some of the highlights back.
No,
you got introduced to the stage to this.
That's just it. That's just my general whenever I walk into a room, to be fair. I was saying anyway.
And then, because you couldn't hear anything, we were doing lots of...
That is it.
We even threw in one of these. My favourite was this one. We had a train whistle for good measure. And even started a fountain. None of which you could hear at the time.
No,
I
could not hear it at all.
Okay, let's have a quick recap then. It might not have been pretty at times, Woody, but it was effective enough in the end. It got us that crucial win, and when all seemed lost, suddenly Suddenly that prize of automatic promotion is just there, just within touching distance. We can almost smell it again, and we're daring to think, oh, it could happen.
Yeah, it's. I mean, to be fair for me, as I said on the night, the most important thing was getting the result. I didn't really give a shit about the performance, to be totally honest. It could have been
Yeah,
the worst
fair.
performance in the world if we've still walked away with the win. And to be fair, I've kind of got a little bit of that attitude for the rest of the season, to be totally honest. But yeah, it's it's difficult because, well, I guess similar to yourself, Fifey, in some weeks, but you've been to more games than I have recently. But it's kind of, I just generally thought at half time, when obviously everybody's saying how bad it was, and I'm sat there going, if that was bad and you think the other performances were better, then Jesus, I don't think the other performances were actually that bad then. But it's I thought whilst Gillingham had quite a lot of possession, they probably had the better opportunity. Well, they definitely had the better opportunities in the first half. I felt a lot more confident at 0-0 at half time than I have done in previous games when we've either I didn't feel like we were going to lose the game, to be totally honest. And so yeah, it's but that could be just, like I said, that could be just the coach in me seeing slightly different things, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily right things, just different things. But like I said, I thought that it was promising when you do see players like Oldacre, Ripley, players that come under fire having a good game. I thought Ripley was outstanding in that first half.
Couple of really good saves.
Really good saves. I thought he commanded his box well. I thought, he's coming, he's off his starting position off his line was good, and things like that. And apparently he's seeing a psychologist at the moment as well, isn't he? So if
Who is, sorry?
Ripley.
Is it?
So if he's seeing a psychologist and he's done something like that in 24 hours, I want that psychologist number, please. But it's
To be fair though, didn't he have something? Didn't he have a family issue or something like that? No.
Well, that was in Harrogate,
His
wasn't it?
daughter was in hospital.
Yeah, that was during the Harrogate game, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
obviously, and
So that was what, about 4-6 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it was. I think that
Yeah.
might have been the last.
I was going to say
was
my
that the last
question.
game I went to?
My question was: is he seeing the psychologist because of that? Maybe.
No.
And again, I guess you see a therapist. I guess, don't you?
They were saying it's a sports psychologist. I'm sure that's what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
So, but no, fair play to him, because obviously he's identified that something's not right, and whether you believe in that type of stuff or not, if it's going to work, it's going to work. And like I say, I thought he had a very positive performance on Saturday. It was lovely to see kind of Taff being back fit as well. Although he did look like in the second half he was going through the trenches a little bit. And also then he got punched in the head, didn't he, by Ripley as well?
He did.
But but you could just sense that he had a lot of control. Do you know what I mean? Taff had quite a lot of control over that, and I think it made others feel quite comfortable. So yeah, no, I don't think it was a torrid performance when you compare it to what we needed to do. What we needed to do was much more important, and we did it. We had 2 opportunities, very well taken goals. I really enjoyed Fletcher Holman's goal because I thought that was really nice of Palmer to dummy it. And and that was a neat little finish. And I think Drinan, like you said, 5 feet. I'm not going to sit here and say he's had a perfect season, because he is scoring goals. But actually, to be fair, I felt, and I know we disagreed at half time, I felt we saw glimpses of him of that Drinan doing the running for us as well. So it's it was positive, but let's take it up a notch, ready for tomorrow. That's my general view. Let's just take it up. Let's be better than the last time. So yeah, and then we shouldn't have a problem for the rest of the season.
And then, Rich, for you, I'm intrigued to know, how do you view what we saw on Tuesday? Was it the first building block in this recovery of a promotion push, or do you see that as it's been coming, or are you kind of more cautious that you're not sure we can replicate that level at this moment in time?
To be honest with you, I still didn't think it's at the level that we need it to be at. I again, like I say, I think there were certain players that stood out on Tuesday, but I'm still not seeing that full team performance yet. And I still think we need to get some consistency more in the actual lineups that we're putting out. And you know, I think until we get that, then I get we've got a very competitive squad, and like I mentioned before, obviously players want to be playing and stuff like that. But I think for right now, Holloway has got to put focus on the team that he wants to be putting out, that he knows are going to be here next season, that really want to get us promoted. And I think that's the mindset that he's got to have now. Because we are, the thing is, we are still in this race, but we're not comfortable in this race. We could still potentially drop out of the top 7. So nothing is guaranteed right now. So he's got to do everything he can in order for us to achieve the goal that we need to get. Well, the goal that has sort of we've been given now, because let's face it, winning this league is probably, chances of that are very, 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 very slim. So I think for us now, the sole focus has to be on team consistency and really nailing down those tactics and doing the analysis of the teams that we're coming up against. Because the thing is, although we will be playing teams, there's going to be nothing in the middle. That's the thing. And unfortunately for us as well, when we do play teams that for them it is a dead rubber, we tend to sort of not do well in those games either. So every single game we have got from now until the end of the season is going to be, it sounds cliche to say it, and we're saying it at Caution at the moment. It's like every single game is a cup final. And that is the mindset that the players have to be going into. Again, like I say, we need to get back to the level that we know that we're capable of doing. And I'm taking a page out of Woody's book here. We need to give a team a battering. And we have not seen that since that complete performance when we played Bolton in the FA Cup. And to be honest with you, I've even had sort of like second thoughts and recollections of that game. Like, were we absolutely incredible that game, or were Bolton just utterly shit? Because obviously every single person in that ground that day, we all said the same thing, was we were absolutely incredible against Bolton. But since then, we have not shown that level. So I'm thinking, were Bolton just shit? So it's really, really difficult. But I think we have got that level back into us. And we need to find it, and we need to find it quick, and we need to put it into these last 8 games this season.
Woody, off the back of Tuesday, how many, for want of a better phrase, getting the monkey off your backs could work in our benefit here? I mean, we had Drinan score what I suppose you would call a typical Drinan goal that wasn't a penalty. We had a clean sheet. We had not, and by virtue of keeping the clean sheet, we had not conceding the first goal. So many things that have been picked up on in recent weeks. How important is it that we could have, we've collected all of these things at the same time?
Yeah, and I think Holloway would have magnified that over the last couple of days. Like, if there's anything that we can praise Holloway for, it's building players up in that situation. And I think he'll be saying, look, we've proven that we can score the first goal. We've proven that we can come under pressure and keep we've been leaking goals this year. Yet we've proven that I think it was 20 odd shots that Gillingham had. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, not all of them were on target, but they've still got to be defended even if they're not on target. So whether that's pushing a player out wide so his shot goes over type thing. So
a quick fact check on Sky Sports app. Gillingham 20 shots, 3 on target.
Yeah, exactly. So it's we've still got to defend against that. So I think where we've come against another team. Now, this is the one reason that I might kind of turn a little bit on what I said earlier, because Gillingham were in bad form going into us. They came at us like they had something to play for.
They
Tranmere
did.
are going to have to do so. They're going to have to do the same. So again, we're kind of coming up to a very similar challenge. But now we've got that win under our belt. Now we've got that motivation. And let's be honest, while we haven't played very good, very well, even in this period that we've played really bad, we have only lost 2 games in that period. You know, yes, we've drawn
Fair.
games that we probably should have won, or we were expected to win, but there is still that kind of, you know, you. If I'm a manager, I'm kind of twisting the stats to suit my narrative. You know, I'm looking and going, well, we've only lost 1 game in the last 4, or things like that. So, I just think that now, I guess what, like a bit of what Rich was alluding to, is how do we keep that momentum going in the team as well as trying to maintain the consistency? Because if he goes in and makes 5-6 changes to the squad, that team is not the team that's won the last game. So you lose
Yeah,
that
true.
momentum. You know, even though we've got it as on the score sheet, we've lost that momentum. And you know,
Yeah.
obviously, ironically, I'm saying that Fletcher Holman should start, but then hold on a minute, Fletcher Holman didn't start in the last game. You know, and we're sat here kind of contradictorily screaming for consistency. Ollie Clark, as Rich said earlier, is normally probably one of the first names on the team sheet. Can we realistically afford to not have him playing in the second game? But then you say, well, hold on a minute. You put him in, you put Fletcher Holman in, you've replaced 2 players. There's your consistency gone.
Yep.
So it's, but then again, I think kind of what Jay said there, or is definitely alluding to there, is that, but then we were better when some of those players came on. We were better when Fletcher Holman came on. So yeah, it's, I kind of envy his job in some ways, but I think he would be sit there going, he would have spent the last couple of days really going, look what we can do when we weren't playing that well. And you know, let's go out there and actually play well, and you'll be surprised, lads, what might happen. You'll be surprised what might happen when you play well.
And then the last thing I just want to touch on, going back to comments that were made in the watch along, we had James on. He was making his debut, and he said that the lineup that was sent out on Tuesday, it kind of had the feel about having actual, for want of a better phrase, ballers, actual football players. That there was less of the, it was more people who were happy playing 1 and 2 touch stuff. You think back to that sort of first 10 minutes, say, there was a lot of 1 and 2 touch stuff going on. Do you think this is, and this is open to both of you, but Woody, I think it feeds into the argument you were having last time you were on about a potential arrogance about Holloway. Do you think this feeds into a reverse of that? Because it's kind of, that style is how we started the season, and we started adopting this hoofball style, which really didn't suit the players. But then the lineup, as I say, on Tuesday did suit more of that actual getting the ball down and playing. Do you think we can see more of that from Swindon, or do you expect us to revert back to more long balls?
Well, I hope we don't revert back to more long balls, and I'm sure Rich shares my opinion on that one. For me, yes, I don't see any lineup where a long ball suits. So I just, it's always a bit that confuses me, because I just can't see Holloway, knowing what we can do, the way we played against Bolton and things like that, and going in there, right, lads, what I want you to do is get it aerial and quickly to our number 9, you know, or our, you know, the striker. For me, Ollie Palmer's not good enough to play that type of role. Well, not the right type of player to play that type of role. So then you're asking Drinan to do it. But actually, as we've seen this season, Drinan's strengths are getting in behind the defenders. So, yeah, I think, but then one thing that, you know, I know he comes under criticism, as I said earlier, but for me, one thing that Oldacre does offer is, if you've got Oldacre on a good game, he can create things. He can have that composure over the ball and things like that. but he does need the help in behind him. I think regardless of how we play, Oldacre needs that help in behind him, who's going to do the shit jobs. Oldacre's not going to do the shit jobs, which is kind of what you kind of look at Nichols to do, really. But then Nichols played further forward, didn't he, on Tuesday, didn't he? Because Nichols was actually started in the 10, didn't he? And Oldacre started in the holding.
Yeah, it was quite a fluid movement between them, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it really depends. I just don't think any lineup that he chooses doesn't suit a long ball. It didn't suit it when we had Harry Smith in there. It was just, I think we mix up with good heading towards goal as hold up play. We mix up people that can head the ball as somebody who can hold up play. Heading the ball is totally different to hold up play, so it's and flick-ons, flicking on a header is different than putting that ball in the net with your head. Drynan's very good with his head in the area. Smith was very good with his head in the area. I don't want them flicking the football on because we just don't need to do it. We've got players, we've got technicians. We don't need to do it. Even if you look at Nichols, technically, yes, he's a bit more gritty now, but he's more of a technician. Just can't complete a 6-yard pass at the moment. But then you've got players like Borland who can do those little nitty passes. You've got Kilkenny who will give you that safe option, whether that's to receive the ball or pass it off. He'll give us that option, and we now, for me, I feel we have got the width. I feel like we have got the players that can play wide. If Drynan plays out on the right, he can do it. He's put a few crosses, a few cutbacks in already this season. I'd like to see. I don't think Wright's the answer, although obviously Wright's cross, was it Wright's cross that came in for the second goal? I can't remember if it was. I think it was, wasn't it? It kind of Wright crossed it in from deep, and then it hit.
I think it was,
and then Palmer did like a little bit of a step over. Obviously it wasn't a step over. But then it's good to know that we've got that option to put the ball over the top if we really need to, for Drynan to run onto. And when I say long ball, we're not on about long ball for somebody to hold up play. We're on about we see a gap in behind the line and we feed it to Drynan, like Sean said there. That was how our first goal was called. Ripley got the assist, didn't he? I think so. It's
I think it came off Palmer's head, but
but it's. I mean, I don't think Palmer was running in the other direction, wasn't he? But it's it's was it McGregor?
Was it McGregor? Was it?
But yeah, so I think we've got I like Batty. I think he can put a ball in from wide as well. So we've got the ability to try different things, and I feel that we just need the confidence to go and do it now. We can't keep using the excuse of fucking Munro's gone. We can't keep using those excuses because I think that does show a disservice to Batty, in my opinion. So yeah, let's just mix it up. Go. You don't have to play one way to score goals, as we saw on Tuesday. So,
okay. Let's turn our attentions then, shall we, before we conclude, to the women's football this weekend. As we have both of our resident women's football experts on, let's hear from inside the caution camp first. Rich, you're looking forward to Saturday. You looking forward to Sunday? Another big game for you?
Yeah, huge game for us on Sunday. We've got Whitchurch, who are up there in the top 3 or 4 with ourselves, Bassett and Mangotsfield. They've had some cracking results recently. They've really cemented themselves as a promotion chasers along with ourselves and Bassett. So it could be a very interesting game. So we know we need to go in full steam ahead. We've probably got the most competitive and biggest squad we've had all season this weekend, and it's about time too. But yes, it's really good that we're going to have players that are going to be really fighting for those spots. But we know what we need to do, and we'll have to be at our very, very best and bounce back from last week's disappointment. because it was very disappointing that obviously we did lose the game last week. To be honest with you, we didn't really. I don't think myself or Dan or any of the coaching staff really felt too bad about it until we saw the second goal and the incident that happened just before the second goal as well. That made us quite angry, to say the least. But again, one mistake, that's the problem. One mistake can cost you football matches at the end of the day. So we need to make sure that we don't make any more mistakes and really come out there and win the game. So our hopes and our where we want to be are still intact. We're not going to let last week's game get the better of us. We'll have to go in, and unfortunately we will have to hope that Bassett do drop points now, but again, still 8 games, and they've actually no, we've got 7 games and they've got 9 games left to play, so they've definitely got more games to play, and we've played the 2 games in handover, so we've got the points, so it's all down to them now. So we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly.
Yeah, so looking forward to it, and yeah, really excited.
And before we play the jingle, Woody, a quick overview on what's happening with Bassett and Swindon this weekend?
So yeah, obviously Bassett are away. Sorry, they don't host. They're away to AFC Brislington, who, you know, despite not picking up a win in the league this season, they have upset. Obviously, they did upset Caution. It was Caution, wasn't it? In the cup. So it's. I mean, realistically, do I see Bassett dropping points there? Probably not. I think last week will give them quite a boost in terms of, because it did obviously jump them up 2 places in the table as well. So it's it won't be my pick of the week. I can tell you that now. It's I mean, I'll be surprised. It is one of those games where I kind of anticipate whether there's going to be an announcement tomorrow evening to say it's been postponed, but that's just the level of
it won't be.
Okay.
Trust me, it won't be. The state of the pitch that we played on when
I
when
was more thinking about whether they were going to do what they did to Downend and gave them a home walkover, or gave them a walkover.
Oh no, they've got an actual squad now, and if it's at home, they will have a full team. I have no doubt about that.
So yeah, but yeah, I think that one will be a Bassett win though. And then obviously Swindon making that torrid journey down to Worthing. Away, kind of top versus bottom clash. Again, you know, on paper, although games not played on paper, that should be another comfortable win. I think it was quite a convincing win at the County Ground, if I remember rightly. Let me just try and have a look. 5-0 win at the County Ground. So, you know, that's relatively convincing. And when you've got, and Rich will know as well, when you're doing that well, traveling is not an issue. You know, they'll still go down with a strong squad down there. Whereas if it was kind of the roles were reversed, you'd probably be a bit worried because you'd be sat there going like nobody's going to want to travel all the way down to Worthing on a Sunday afternoon. So yeah, although, you know, it is near the beach, isn't it? So it might be quite nice on Sunday. But yeah, West Sussex way. So yeah, it will be. I think that will be another one comfortable Swindon win.
Okay, so we've heard the previews. Now it's time for everyone's favourite moment on a Friday.
Woody's Women's Football Pick of the Week. Bassett, Swindon, a caution to see. One big match, the spotlight's clear. Your fixture focus starts right here. Woody's Pick of the Week.
I always think, what does that sound a bit like? And I was thinking, you could mix that up with an Australian soap, couldn't you? But yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, for me, the pick of the week is the Caution game this weekend. first against second. Whitchurch I think they've always been a threatening team, but they've all of a sudden kind of found a really good bit of form of late, which has surged them up the table and put them very much in the conversation for that top spot. Obviously, they are a game in hand of Corsham as well. So, yeah, I mean, I don't actually know what I'm doing Sunday yet, but if I was to pick, Brislington's quite close, but I don't think you're going to go there to watch the football. I think you'd end up going there just to watch a James Lally side, probably camp in one half of the field, and then.
Well, if it goes by anything on from last week, I think it'll be a Royal Rumble. If I'm being brutally honest, because I think Brislington are quite a rough side themselves. So I think both sides. I think it'll be a Royal Rumble. I think there'll be a few body slams contested in that match.
Although, so it would be Caution for me as the game to go watch this weekend. The weather's been decent this week, so hopefully it won't be the downpour that was last Sunday. Although there are, going off piece, there are some other decent ties in that league. You got Bath against Siren as well. But yeah, for me, it's Caution Whitchurch any day of the week if I was choosing. And I believe at the moment it's still, as it was last week, it's free to get into Corsham. So I would recommend going there, although you might not be able to get a cup of coffee. But it's, so take a flask. Take a flask. You don't need your money to get in, I believe, as it stands.
There's a Costa just up by Chippenham where like the McDonald's is. Go get a coffee from there and then bring it in.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So
or get one from McDonald's. It's cheaper and probably better as well.
Yes.
Strong consumer advice.
KFC's quite decent coffee as well. KFC's got quite good coffee as well. So
there's a KFC there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a KFC.
KFC. Just buy gravy and treat it as Bovril.
Oh. No, I'm not a fan.
KFC's gravy is supposed to be really good. I'm
not a fan. I used to be. I just don't think I am anymore. But yeah, anyway, Caution Whitchurch. If you are there, you might see me there. I don't. Again, Rich will update us with any squad, but I think I don't think there was any injuries last weekend to worry about. So yeah,
like I say, we've got. I think. I think it's our strongest squad that we've had all season. So it's good.
Oh, there we go.
Brilliant.
If you are travelling to Tranmere, as we always say, travel safe, be loud, be proud, and let's see if we can start to build this momentum for a strong end to the season. And you just never know what might happen. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for carrying the show tonight. I've been very much relying on you two to bring the energy because I've been struggling. I'm absolutely fucking exhausted. So I've been coasting today and letting you two do their hard work. So thank you very much. Thank you to Ben for coming on as well and talking so openly and clearly about what we can expect. And we will be back on Monday to do it all again. Will we have 3 points? We certainly hope so. From myself, from Woody, from Rich, and from everyone at FRI HQ, have a fantastic weekend. Good night.
Fools rushing! Yeah, we're back again, like mates down the pub. Heart on sleeve, never tame. Yeah, from the chanting in the stands to the tackles flying in. Home and away, red blood, white shirt, where the fools rush in. Passion, debates, laugh, rants, late nights, Woody, Ben, Nick, Rich, Walter, Kieran, side by side, Craig and Ned, Joe and Mark, Art, Gar, Gary in the dark, and now we got Barry in. Yeah, the gang's all in.
Fools rushing like we're chasing one more win. We'll make you laugh, make you cry, feel happy, feel angry inside. rushing like we're chasing one more wind. We'll make you laugh, make you cry, feel happy, feel